Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to the second PDF to hear my mumbling about programming design and on Fridays. So today we're gonna actually at the last Friday we built this animation as if you actually watched the last Friday's session, and this is like kind of automatically appear typing these letters, and if I click this and we'll see the pop-up like that, right? Today I'm trying to kind of make it more reusable, because the last time we used overrides and to in order to make that animation, and we want to kind of wrap it inside a component so that other people can use it. So this is today's goal. And if you want to follow along, and let me just paste a link over there so that you can open the starter file. I will paste it into the chat so that you can have a look over there. Let's get started, right? Let me give you a quick review of what was doing, what we were doing last time, and basically right here is that there's a text, and there's a box over there. I don't think I actually get to this pop-up menu, but we'll see. We'll see about today. But like this one, this text, we have an override that controls the. It's getting slow here now. All right. So we have an override here that controls the actual letter being set on this text, and we have a state that is the letters, and we have a use effect that use. Actually, this is not the one that we used last time. I think it's this one, letter typing random. This override is the one that we used, and it's gonna use we used a use effect to call it set timeout, and then we use that to actually get one letter from the sentence at a time, and if we give it a randomized delay, and you're gonna see this typing effect, yeah, like that. And as I mentioned, this solution, like, because we use override, it is not super reusable, especially if we want to kind of wrap up the whole thing into a component, and if we want to publish it on the Framer store. I don't think we can actually publish it from the web version, but from the desktop version, we can publish the component that we wrote to share with other people, right? But this override is not gonna be carried over to that store. So if we if we make this thing a design component and publish it on the store, we will lose this effect. All right. So now the goal is to make it at least this auto typing letter part shareable, and we're not talking about this one in this this highlight or this pop-up menu yet, but let's focus on the letter typing, this one. Okay, now let's get started to make it a code component, right? So let me try to remember, because I'm just back from a camping trip. Hopefully I still remember everything, but bear with me. Okay, over here in the code tab over here, yeah, this is not very visible. And down below there is a button called create code file. And why it does not move? Okay, so basically this button is called create code file, if I click on it, and it will we'll be able to choose whether we want a new override or a new component. And for this case, we'll want to say letter typing text. We're gonna create a new code component. So basically, it's gonna be a React component where we can put it on the canvas. So that's one of the kind of like beauty of Framer, is that we can seamlessly mix code and the design in a very convenient manner. So over here, let's create a new frame here, and then if I press I, which is equivalent to this insert, and then let's type that component that we have just created. This is like letter typing text, and then we can insert it to our current frame, and this is basically coming from the code that you can see in this letter typing text txx file over here. And let's go over there and make some changes, right? And our goal is to convert whatever we have in this app.tsx file into a component. And how are we going to do that? Basically copy and paste, right? So let's actually just copy and paste this part from line number 11 to line number 23, and just copy, go over to the letter typing and put it into this component. And let's actually get rid, we don't need the old content. And basically the content of this file comes from a template when I just created this code component. So for now, let's just we're not gonna use most of it, but yeah. So let's import to fix error. Import the use state, use effect from React. Fix most of the error there. Okay, and I think we will also make a few changes, because we're now inside a React component. We're not making this code override anymore. We will need to, let me actually copy this sentence, because we're going to use it, because it's used over here, line number 14, right? So that's a full sentence. And what else do we need? I think this data, we're going to do that a bit later. Let's comment it out, because we're right inside a React component. This data concept is like, Framer specific, right? So we're not going to use it in our React component. So let me just comment out for this for a while. Okay, what else do we need? Maybe instead of using a frame, let's just use a div, because frame has some extra stuff that I normally don't like when I was working on a code component. And we're gonna want to put the letters state. This is coming from the state, right? And the color, maybe the color, let's change it to black. And let's see what we get. It's actually coming up, right? Do you see the effect? So if I go back to the code, I was basically copying most of my code in this component. Actually, Yeah, let's leave with that. I copied this one. This is a simpler version of this letter typing without the randomized delay. But let's just leave with that. I mean, if you want this, you can actually copy this code as well. But that's the same idea. So this is actually working, right? Already working, and let's preview it. Maybe this frame is way too big. Make it way smaller, and then preview. See, this is kind of like the effect that we want, right? And oh yeah, and also actually I forgot to mention that in last week's last Friday's this example, when we want to expand this this blue box, when we type to like when those letters appear at a certain position, right? So what we did was actually kind of manually change the height of the frame, so which is a blue box, to some point to a kind of hard coded value. So right now it's like 430 or something. Like if we change the sentence, and we're gonna have to change this again. So this is not really good code, right? We want it to automatically change according to the content of this text, right? So because we're actually doing this, like this is a web way, like we're using a div, we automatically have that ability, right? So we have this div, it'll automatically wrap around the letters, and it's gonna choose the correct height according to the content. So we automatically get that. And then now the other thing that I want to show you is this handoff feature actually. So suppose that we have already designed this stuff, this blue box or whatever, and we have carefully determined the radius or the width or the color of this box, and how are we gonna transfer it to this code component, or maybe transfer even to the development, right? So Framer has this handoff tab on the top over here, and you're gonna see this is a handoff button, and if you click on it, it's gonna show you either CSS in the code, right? Either CSX or JSX. In this case, we're gonna just copy this JSX and copy here. Coming back, go back to the code, and we want to use it inside the container div for the text. So line number 29, just paste in whatever that's there. I guess let's just get rid of this width and height, because we wanted it automatically adjust according to its content, right? But like this is gonna be, yeah, I think the font size is not really nice for that one, but the idea is that let's actually change the font size to match this guy. The font size is 66, so let's change it to 66. That will hopefully look better. What's going on? How come I cannot change? Oh, this is actually annoying. So when this handoff is turned on, you see this is blue now. This is handoff mode. So when you are in this handoff mode, you cannot make changes to anything on the canvas. So you want to turn it off before you can actually modify things there, right? So let's make it like that. And of course, the width of this guy is not. It's kind of like, I think we can adjust it to be like that. It is almost the one. Yeah, so it actually automatically adjusts the height of the box already, right? And probably we'll want some padding for this for the box. We can add some padding there. Because this padding is not set in our original box there, so so on the canvas over here we just kind of put it like position it absolutely there, which is unfortunate. But yeah, let's go over here to set some padding, maybe 20, 30. Well, I don't know what padding look good. Even more. Font is too heavy there. 30. Okay, that looks better, right? That looks better. And if we preview it, and it should be what we want, right? So that looks much better. And now, another thing is that we want to display this guy on the right bottom right corner. We want to display that over there. So how do we do that, right? And this is my favorite feature of a framer is that we can like in our code component we can use bits on the canvas. So for example, like this guy, let's select on that, and this is actually the one that I have here, the round, and we can convert it to a design component so that we can use it inside the code component, and you'll see how it's actually very convenient. So right click and we can create a component, and let's call it what is that, enter key or something, enter circle, enter circle, whatever that means, enter button maybe. Okay, so this button, we want to call it enter button, and then it is a component. You see it, the color, you probably won't notice, like it becomes a purplish color, and on the left you can see it as well. So when I select that, like the selection of it becomes purple, indicating that it is a design component. So since it's a design component, which is basically a component, like a React component as well, we can use it as another like React component inside the code. So if we go over here, like letter typing text, which is a component right there, and if we do this import from, so we need to import it from a specific place, this canvas, and so its name is enter button, or send button, should be send button anyway. So enter button, it takes a bit before this error disappear, but it'll work. Maybe go back and forth a little bit, but anyway, let's put it there. Put this enter button. See, we have imported right here, and line number 39, we can just use it as if it's another React component. It is actually a React component, so we can just use it like that. Let's see if we can see that. You see on the right, so it's actually showing this button there, and on the canvas you can see it, but it's actually not positioned correctly, right? It's not positioned correctly because like everything we import from the design component or from the canvas is going to be positioned absolutely. So we wanted, yeah, we probably still wanted to be positioned absolutely, but it's still it needs to be like right here, right, relative to the blue box right here. So the solution for this is to use to make the container, this blue box, position relative, and then that should look better. Yeah, and yeah, I think that looked reasonably good. Maybe it's way too big, but we can always change it. So the idea, the point for this is that how come it does not change it? Okay. Anyway, the idea for like using this design component is that afterwards, let's just lock it there. Afterwards, we can adjust it on the canvas, and we will see the same updates in the code component. So let's just make it smaller, and it'll be smaller. It becomes a squarish, but you get the idea, right? So you get the idea. So you, that's a really nice feature. So the idea is that if you have a code component, and you can import a design component, so that you can modify, you can do you can change whatever on the canvas. You'll still see the same change on the in the code component that imports it. So basically, taking advantage of the strength and weakness of design and code, and that's a nice way of using code and design together. And as the last step, how many minutes do I have? I have a few minutes. Last step is that we want to actually is about this guy. So this this menu. Let me just copy it there. And also, actually, let's just do this this highlighting there. Where is the highlighting? Error square. Okay, this error square is this red highlighting over there, and let me just copy it to this frame, and making it somewhere over there. So this is still like in terms. This is still like like a prototype, right? It's not the real thing that you can actually type something there, and the code will detect the spelling error and show the correct like indication of the error here. This is just a prototype. The point is to just show you this interaction, right? And so we still use this kind of hard-coded position of this guy here. And then the question is, how do we show this box when this typing finishes? So before we did it in this code component right here, is that we use a data object. Whenever it reaches the end of the sentence, we are going to set the opacity of that box to be 1, like otherwise it's hidden. And this one is a bit different because this box is actually a code component. We cannot do similar things. We cannot use a data object there. We need to do something else, right? We need to actually, the way it works is that we need to make kind of event. So whenever this text finished typing, this sentence finished typing, we wanted to do something. So in that place, we can actually set the opacity of this square. Okay. So we will need 2 parts of the modification to the code here. The first is that let's actually do it this way. So for this code component, we can add override as well. So we're gonna add override. We can add override. So let's say export function, letter typing text. So that is override, and it's gonna return something called is that like because we want to set its like an event, right? So we're gonna say auto typing complete. So that's event is similar to that, you know, on click or like yeah, so similar to other events on click, on scroll or whatever. So now we want to say whenever it's complete, we want to do something. We want to actually set its opacity to 1. So we're gonna, because right now we're actually writing an override, we can use this, right? So set this to 1 because so initially it was 0. We want to set it to 1 when that happens. But this is not quite working. I don't think it's working because our code component. We need to teach this code component to be able to accept this to be able to accept this event, right? So over here we go back to the letter typing text component. We get it from the props. And then we can actually just do the code here, run it right there. So of course we need to add some like protection of it. If it is actually a function, we're gonna call that function, right? Okay. Is it working? Yeah. I think I typed 3. I'm gonna show you the code again. Right? So this letter pod, again, this letter typing text is a component, and it accepts this props on auto typing complete, and if it's a function, we are gonna run this function, and you can see the connection between the overrides and the component right here, right? So in this override, we have this we actually return an object. It has a key on auto typing complete. It's gonna do something, and after we do that, and also after we actually set this this code override to this code component right here, you know, say letter typing text. So that is what we want here, and this our component is gonna receive this this event. It's gonna receive that as a prop, and then in turn in this component we're gonna just use that prop and do stuff accordingly, right? So that of course we probably want to move it down a little bit so that we'll be able to see it, and perhaps we want to change the background of the text. Instead of a white, we want to change it to background color, change it to transparent, and that should have the final polishing of it. Yeah, so that's the expected result, right? Okay, so this is end of my demo. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, just post on the comment, and I can spend the next few minutes to answer them. Is there any question there? No. So again, today I showed that how do we extract whatever we have in this override into a separate code component, and because it's a React component, it's a lot more reusable than whatever we wrote inside a framer override. We can use it in a lot of places. And I also showed you that in our code component, we can actually import a design component, basically the elements on the design canvas. So we can actually kind of directly manipulate on the canvas to because that's easier on the design canvas for design for visual kind of content, right? Because that's a lot easier to adjust right there. We can see the result directly in the code component that we have here. Okay, so and also the handoff feature is I think it's useful, and I think you can do handoff on the code component as well, like this handoff. You can see this is I think this is pretty cool, but it's not really complete. I mean, it'll depend on whatever what the design. I think you will need to, yeah, it'll just grab whatever you put this in this property control, and you'll be able to do that. And also, I also showed you how to like kind of set an override on a code component, and how to accept that override in our code component. So I hope that's useful for you. And if you don't have any more questions, and this is end of today's show, and I'll see you next Friday. Hopefully, if I can come up with something worth showing, or you can let me know what you want me to do. This kind of improvise or like mumbling of whatever that I know. I just try to see if this is actually useful. As well, like, okay, the question, it would be nice to see if that we can enter text as input. Yeah, so like I said, we can make it instead of a text right here. So here it's this is just a text, right? We can change it to input, but it might different. Like we need some. Let's actually do that. Make it the input, and this is still like an automatic typing, but we're gonna be able to change it. Let's see what it's gonna look like. Yeah, so the styling won't be right, but this is the input, and I don't think we can change it, but we can set it so that we can change it. But the problem with this is that we're gonna need to figure out the correct position for that phrase we want to highlight, and that's a bit tricky actually. That's a bit tricky. So I think depending on your purpose of it, like if you want to do it, you want to make it make a prototype that's you're gonna use it for user testing, for example. You might want to spend more time to make that work. I'll give it a try. I'll see if I can find anything that I can do in half an hour or something. Yeah, so we can make a div with content editable. Yeah, or maybe text area. Maybe input is not the best idea here. But still, you need to find the correct position of this red square for a particular word, which can be tricky. Unless, like, I think if we want, we just hard code it. Like for now, we just hard code the value. Basically, I drag and drop this stuff right here, right? Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to today's show, and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.